Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another live stream. Back to another live stream. Back
100 times?
to another live stream.
200 times?
Back
500 times?
Who is Jose Arteaga?
Jose Arteaga is a YouTube content creator with several channels focusing on different themes.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live! Thing sucks!
His main channels include travel vlogs and lifestyle content. On his travel channel, Jose Arteaga Travels.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Additionally, he runs a cooking channel and engages in other personal projects that highlight his diverse interests and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects and expertise. Project, 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 project,
I'm living in the 21st century,
Hey.
doing something mean to it. Do it better than anybody you ever seen do it. Screams from the haters got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power.
21st century skis on, man.
Hey, the system broken, the schools closed, the prisons open. We ain't got nothing to lose, motherfucker, we rollin'. Motherfucker, we rollin'. With some light-skinned girls and some Kelly Rollins. In this white man world, we the ones chosen. So good night, cruel world, I'll see you in the morning. Way too much, I need a moment. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Till then, fuck that, the world's ours. And they say, 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 and they say. Fuck SNL and the whole cast. Tell them Yeezy said they can kiss my whole ass. More specifically, they can kiss my asshole. I'm an asshole, you niggas got jokes. You short-minded niggas, thoughts is Napoleon. My first is Mongolian, my eyes brought the goalies in. I embody every characteristic of the egotistic. He knows he's so fucking gifted. I just needed time alone with my own thoughts. Got treasures in my mind but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me, taking my inner child. I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me. As I look down at my diamond encrusted piece, thinking no one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping, I'm off the powder. Till then, fuck that, the world's ours. And they say, 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 and they say. Austin Powers, lost in translation with a whole fucking nation. They say I was the abomination of Obama's nation. Well, that's a pretty bad way to start the conversation. At the end of the day, goddamn it, I'm killing this shit. I know damn well y'all feeling this shit. I don't need your pussy, bitch, I'm on my own dick. I ain't got a power trip, who you going on with? How you doing? I'm surviving. I was drinking earlier, now I'm driving. Where the bad bitches are, where you hiding? I got the power, make your life so exciting. Now this will be a beautiful death. I'm jumping out the window, I'm letting everything go. Now this will be a beautiful death. I'm jumping out the window, I'm letting everything go. I'm letting everything go. Now this will be a beautiful day. Jumping out the window, letting everything go. Letting everything go. You got the power to let power go.
Hey, guys, how's it going? And welcome back to another live stream. Hope you guys enjoy the intros. I know you guys do. That's why I spend so much time trying to put them together here. It's all about the music. It's all about the vibe. It's all about the energy and things like that. And well, that was an AI cover of Kanye West. Power. Some of you guys know the songs. Some of you guys know the lyrics. Some of you guys don't. Either way, that's that's what we were listening to while we were watching one of our favorite compilation videos there. But yeah, so what are we talking about today? Well, we're talking about the government is open and they're ready to start making your life miserable again, even though they were doing a great job of it while they were closed. But hey, I digress. I mean, it is what it is. They're trying their best. It's you know how it is. It's not easy. Not easy being a politician these days. So yeah, so it seems like the government's back open and just in time, again, just so that they can go on ahead and slip in, a bunch of provisions as they usually do anytime that they pass any one of these bills or any one of these whatever. It seems like this time around, the hemp industry is now basically eliminated. Yeah, who knew, right? So we're going to be talking about that and other things, as you guys already know. But as I mentioned here on the channel about a month ago, 3 weeks ago, whatever, I forgot already. But I remember I mentioned to you guys, in fact, maybe I can remember. It was a month ago. Who cares? Anyways, look, the point is that I let you guys know about the government shutdown, that it was probably most likely, going to end around now. Okay, so yeah, August 16th. So that was a month ago. Wow. All right, time flies, huh? So a month ago, I told you guys I had the inclination. I just felt deep in my bones that this is what what was going to happen. That we were that the whole government shutdown was going to be extended all the way up until mid-November. And here we are, mid-November, and they just opened up today. And everyone right now is just basically they're just happy. They're thankful, grateful that the government's open and they can have their EBT cards again and then get their government help again and all that good stuff. And so a lot of people are not really seeing what's at play here. A lot of people, depending on what side you're on, they're going to be picking the side, and that's all they're talking about. Again, I don't really know too much about the whole shutdown. I don't live there anymore. I don't live in the USA anymore. I don't know exactly how you guys were feeling it. I would just over here, I would see how you guys were dealing with it. And for some of you guys, it was great, or some of you guys didn't even feel anything at all. But for some other people out there, this was like a major problem. All right. Like I said, some people, they didn't get their social security check, I guess. They didn't get their EBT cards, whatever. All right. And so, obviously it was big stressor for a lot of people. And so now that the government's been back open, well, that's what people are focusing on. They're like, all right, finally, everything is open. and we can get our money, and we can go shopping and so on and so forth. And no one's really paying attention to what was passed in the bill. Now, again, this was just passed last night, or like not even 24 hours ago. Um, and so in the bill, there's already been people talking about certain things that they put in there that they shouldn't put in there. Like I was talking about the hemp industry. So it seems like, now with the new bill, they have 1 year from this date, so 365 days from today, in order to either fix that provision, or a year from today, there's not going to be any more hemp industry in the USA. That's pretty crazy, right? So it seemed like they slipped that in. It seems like it has nothing to do with trying to save the children or anything like that. It's just basically the same old. The alcohol lobbyist, went after uh the congressmen, or the people, the politicians. And in fact, I think it was Mitch McConnell that put this thing in order to go after, basically eliminate the whole hemp industry. So that's like 300,000 jobs right there, gone. All right, whole industry gone. An industry that took a long time for them to build up. So, that's happening. Another thing that was happening was that, again, I'm pretty sure you guys already got the word. I think it was last week or a few days ago, when Trump was saying that he's going to be sending everybody out a $2,000 check. So notice how all this is coming, one after the other. So you guys remember when we were talking about a month ago that what they were doing, the people in power, what they were doing is that basically they were giving you a problem, all right, so that you guys had to deal with that problem, and then they offered you the solution. The same thing that they do all the time. There's no difference with this situation at all. And so now, I mean, before they opened the government, they were, Trump already said, I'm going to be sending you guys $2,000. All right. Now the government is already open. And again, a lot of places like Walmart, Kroger, grocery stores, and things like that. They have been, basically also having a hard time, on the last. Sorry, I'm just dealing with, some messages from the wife. All right, sorry, my apologies. All right. Anyway, so just want to make sure she's all right. Anyway, so as I was saying, so basically, every single month, all these grocery stores, Walmarts, et cetera, they count on a good majority of people coming in with their fresh EBT money, all right, to purchase their food for the month, their groceries or whatever. But since this month, a lot of people were not getting their EBT money. They were not getting paid. Federal workers, whatever it is. A lot of these places, well, they did not have as much food or order as much food. Or long story short, right now I'm hearing from a lot of places out there that they're dropping the prices of food. Okay, because again, they weren't sold 2 weeks ago, so they have to make up for the money that they didn't make at the beginning of the month and throughout this whole process. And so again, right in time for Thanksgiving. So, right now, think about it. Up until, the government shut down, everybody was going after Trump. They still are, but what I'm saying, everybody was going after Trump and going after the government, for all the things that they've been doing recently. And then right now, right before the government opened up again, they were, Trump said, hey, I'm sending you guys $2,000. Hey, look, the economy is doing so good that now when you're going to go shopping for Thanksgiving, look at how inexpensive, look at how much cheaper your Thanksgiving is going to be this year. Again, thank you. You're welcome. So right now, Trump is out there, acting like the hero. Again, after they started the problem and they've now given you the solution. And so now a lot of people out there are basically under the impression, all right. I think a lot of people are more awake these days than they used to be. But long story short, a lot of people right now are, again, very happy that they're getting, all this money. Okay. Whether it's a $2,000 check, the EBT, and so on and so forth. So, it is Isai says he's still waiting for your government check. What is it? Your Doge check. Yeah, so I guess that $2,000 check is a Doge check or something. I don't know. Chris says, "Who sings the song?" That's a Kanye West song. So the song is called "Power" by Kanye West, but that was an AI cover. All right. Here, I'll give you guys the link for. I know some of you guys might want to listen to it on your own time. I'll put the link in the chat. All right. So, but anyway, so like we've talked about, many times before, how the government always provides all these problems, all right, so that they have a reason to give you guys the solution, which many times the solution, again, that's what they really wanted to push from the get-go, from the very, very beginning. So, everything so look, right now, think about it, all this was a test. I told you guys, all right, that basically what was supposed to happen, all right, what really the people were supposed to do is that if they didn't get their money, if they didn't get their food, all right, they were supposed to, go out there and start protesting, start breaking stuff, start rioting and all that stuff. But none of that happened. None of that happened. Okay. In fact, everyone, just stood there and took it. All right. And they were very thankful. They got on their knees and they were very, very thankful. All right. And grateful that the government is open and giving them their government check all over again. So, Isa says Walmart's giving package has already been debunked. It costs less, but they took out a bunch of stuff. Are we great? Yeah, yeah. No, that's not what I was talking about. I didn't mean that. What I was talking about was the fact that, again, most Americans every single year for Thanksgiving, a lot of Americans out there that rely on EBT, rely on government checks, government help. You got to remember, they do their grocery shopping, at the beginning of the month. And sometimes, during Thanksgiving, again, I used to be poor. I mean, I know how it is. So during Thanksgiving, they give out a little bit more. Meaning, you go to the food bank, they give you a little bit more. When you have your food stamps, which is the same every month, but you got Thanksgiving coming up. So when you're doing your shopping, you're probably going to start buying, the stuffing, and you might start buying the cranberry sauce, and you might start, again, stocking up for when Thanksgiving finally got there, to make it easier. Again, some families can go to certain places and get a free turkey, whatever, right? So what they did this year is that, again, since they delayed all those payments, all right, and people were not able to go shopping like they normally did. All right, Walmart and not just Walmart, but all these grocery stores out there, they rely on all the people coming in at a certain point in the month, to make their monthly purchases. But this month it didn't happen, and so again, remember they got a supply chain, they got cost, and all this stuff. And so all of a sudden, if there's like a backup, remember we saw what happened during COVID, but this is just like a very minor version of that. So when things started to get, backed up, you got to remember, a lot of these a lot of these deliveries and a lot of these, things, they're already kind of like set on a timer or set on a cycle. So, for long story short, you know what I mean? A lot of these places, they got their monthly deliveries, but they didn't get the monthly customers. And so a lot of the food, was not sold. And now, sure, a lot of people are getting their money and a lot of people are now, running to the stores, to get, their supplies for the month and to get their supplies for Thanksgiving. But in the meantime, like I said, there's a glut, there's an extra amount of supply in the stores. Okay, that again they have to be sold at a reduced cost. But so I know what you're saying, Isai. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm horrible with names. I can't pronounce anything. So I know what you're saying, about the Thanksgiving basket, and Trump's Thanksgiving basket had a lot less items than it normally has. But that's not what I was talking about. I was just talking about cost in general, for everything, like actual cost, actual what's actually going on out there. So, and you got to remember, every single state is different. Some states did provide the people with EBT, because again, it's all delivered, right, or distributed by the states and things like that. So I do know that some people were okay. Some people didn't even feel anything. Others not so much. Others did feel it, and so on and so forth. So, but a lot of things that are going on is that a lot of people also are, reducing their costs. There are a lot of people are becoming more frugal each and every day, and so they're buying less and less stuff. and they're being more frugal with their purchases. They're buying a lot less junk and so on and so forth, just simply because they can't afford it anymore. It's just the economy is, basically coming to a very, very, it's coming to a gradual stop. But it's like, yeah, a lot of people, and I see it on my end as well. You got to remember too that, a lot of people, for example, look, I'll give you an example. I'm seeing it on my end as a YouTuber. Okay. I have a couple channels. There are other YouTubers out there, there's tons of YouTubers. But, anyways, most YouTubers across the board, it does not matter what the channel's about, okay? Whether they're, talking about furniture or, talking about cars or what I talk about or whatever it is. At the end of the day, all across the board, most YouTubers or all YouTubers, right, are seeing a major decline in what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, and in revenue. Okay, and revenue coming from ads. Okay, and this time of the year, remember, we're in November, halfway through November. We're already in Christmas season. I mean, I'm literally about to go put up the Christmas lights. Okay, so we're already in Christmas, season. Okay, we're 2 weeks away from Black Friday, for crying out loud, right? So anyway, so we're already in prime holiday season, and yet, you're not really seeing the advertisements on YouTube. You're not seeing the advertisements. Again, look, I watch American TV. The only thing I watch on American TV are sports. But all I'm saying is, like, even when I'm watching American TV, I don't see any Christmas commercials. I'm not seeing any commercials that you would normally see during this time of the year on YouTube as well. You got to remember that, again, the people that are selling you stuff, whatever they're selling you, okay, whether it's Ford or Nissan or Mattel, selling you toys or whatever it is they're selling, they're not advertising if they know that the people they're advertising to are not going to be able to afford to buy their stuff. So why even advertise if no one's going to be buying anything? So it's like a trick that this is the trickle down economics. All right. It's trickling down and basically, hitting everyone over the head with it. All right. But that's the thing. It's like, it's at the end of the day, more and more people are not able to afford, their lives anymore. People are not able to afford to even rent an apartment or a house. I've seen, tons of videos where, people are, not only living out of their cars or living out of storage units, which is something that you would hear very rarely. But now it's like a very common thing. People are living, not just out of their car, out of their storage units, whatever. The way I see things right now, I think that we're in a bubble. I think a lot of people know that we're in a bubble. Even though they tell us the economy's fine and telling us the economy's great, most of us are living in this economy, or again, you're working or functioning in their day to day life, and that it couldn't be any further from the truth that the economy is not great. Your pocketbook is not great. Nothing's great. Everything sucks. Everything's getting from bad to worse each and every day. And so that's the thing. And so, like, a lot of companies out there, they're seeing it themselves. They're not selling as many toys. They're not selling as much food. People are not going out as much. People, again, 50-year mortgages, for crying out loud. With so the next economic bubble that's about to burst is going to be other kinds of debt. So look, some of you guys know this, some of you guys don't, but you guys remember 2007, 2008, and the big financial bubble that burst back then, and it was all on housing. And so a lot of people are calling, saying that, hey, the next bubble is here and that's going to happen again. And it's like, well, yeah, kind of, sort of, but not really. So the next economic bubble, that's being blown up right now, the bubble that's already so big, it's about to burst, has nothing to do with housing. Nothing to do with housing. It has to do with every other kind of debt. So in the USA these days, basically, the biggest debt right now that most people have that are not paying that debt are car loans, car debts. Okay. So right off the bat, that's the biggest bubble. The biggest bubble is going to be like like the housing bubble that we had in 2007, 2008, but with auto loans, and not just auto loans, but all kinds of loans. I mean, come on, in the USA these days, basically, you're going to go buy a burrito at Chipotle and you can pay that burrito off in 4 easy installments, So That's the next bubble that's about to burst, and it's going to be terrible. And that's coming. I mean, that's we're on the verge of that right now. And I think that what's really going on right now is that they're priming the American public. They're getting everybody ready out there for what's coming. And when the first thing that I thought of immediately, when Trump said a few days ago or whatever, a week ago, I don't know when, but when Trump said a few days ago that he was going to give everybody a $2,000 check, and it was a what was it? Was it word a dividend or something like that? From the tariffs. I don't know. Whatever, but the way that he worded it, I'm pretty sure he said, this is going to be like a dividend or something like that. Anyways, the way he worded it, I was like, oh, wait a minute. This doesn't seem like it's going to be a one-time payment. This might be the the precursor or the very beginning of UBI. What is UBI? Universal Basic Income. And we saw a glimpse of that during COVID. Remember, Trump was president, okay? And he's the one that, remember, was giving checks away to people, the PPP loans or whatever, all that crap. And so they're very well versed with that. And I think that that's what we're going to be seeing. But obviously, it's going to be different. I think that what's when we have the next bubble burst and there's going to be a giant economic emergency, and they're going to be bailing out the banks, they're going to be bailing out the lenders, they're going to be bailing everybody out. Well, they're also going to have to bail out the people this time around, because again, in the times believe it or not, you know what I mean, everyone still had wealth, back in 2007 2008, which is why they bailed out the banks and bailed out big business, but they didn't bail you out. But when COVID happened, well, they had to bail out the people as well. All right. And now this time, things are way worse. All right. Way worse. And they're definitely going to be bailing the people out. And this is the beginning of that. I think that, once those checks come out, by the way, I don't think they're going to be coming out anytime soon. They might not start being delivered until we have an economic emergency. And then they're going to start delivering those $2,000 checks to start off. All right. And we're going to see how it goes. You know what I mean? They might increase them, they might not. But this is the beginning of, again, I've talked about this for years on my other channel and things like that. And I'm going to start talking about it more here, obviously, because, now we're really, really getting to that point. But that's the beginning of communism. A lot of people, again, they're not just communism. Fascism, I guess, whatever, this is depending on what side you're on, depending on what you want to call it, it doesn't matter. The point is that the state runs the show, the government that runs the show. All right. And they run everything. Okay. And so what they do, okay, what, most of these, communist, regimes do, or, these, socialist regimes or fascist regimes do, is that they pay the people. Okay, they pay the people a stipend. All right, and when it starts off like, oh my God, look how amazing our economy is that we have so much extra money that we're giving it away to the people. But as things get gradually worse, okay, as things get gradually worse, think about it. That $2,000 that they're giving you now, imagine what that $2,000 is going to be worth in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's not. It's going to be like they might as well be giving you $20, because when you go, like for example, my parents fled communist Cuba, and I remember back in 2019, I went to visit Cuba, and me, I'm inquisitive, asking people, talking to people, and so I was asking the people, it's like, okay, hey, how? So they would talk to you, and they would tell you, hey, can you please help us out? Can you give us a couple bucks? Can you give us a whatever? Because we don't make any money. The Cuban government only gives us the equivalent, okay, of I think it was like $4, okay, a month, or $20 a month or something like that. All right. And at one time, when the Cuban government was giving out that stipend, it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money. But now, again, fast forward to 2019, it was just $20. So again, it's going to be similar to that. Again, in Venezuela, for example, they were the richest country in the world. and they would be giving, dividends. They would give, a lot of money to the public. And now, this the Venezuelan people still get that dividend, but you already know, they get like, sure, they might get like 10,000 Venezuelan pesos, but those 10,000 Venezuelan pesos are worth like 10 cents American, give or take, So that's the thing, that's the reality of it. You know what I mean? Like, I think that we're just in the very beginning of all that. We've talked about it in previous live streams. When Trump, passed the Genius Act and what they were planning on doing on how they were going to get rid of the 40 trillion in debt that we have. So again, I went into detail as to, how that was going to happen. I did it in a previous video. I'm not going to do that all over again. But long story short, what they're planning on doing is that they're planning on creating a cryptocurrency, okay? And this cryptocurrency is going to be backed by the dollar, okay? And the dollar is also going to be backing this cryptocurrency, and it's going to be purchased with US treasuries, okay? So again, you can see how the inflation is continuing is going to continue going on, but what they're planning on doing is that right now, as they print money, it just gets added to the debt. But imagine if that money that's added to the debt, right? Then all of a sudden that debt magically gets to be transported to a digital currency that's in outer space, just in fucking the blockchain or whatever. And then all of a sudden it just disappears because all that debt is going to be turned into treasuries, and all that debt is going to be turned into those stable coins. And so basically it's going to disappear because all that debt is going to be purchasing US treasuries. I mean, and again, it's literally as I'm explaining it, and I explained it in more detail in previous videos. But the more you explain it and go deep into it, you're basically saying, Jose, that doesn't even make any sense. Jose, that sounds like a Ponzi scheme. Jose, that sounds like a pyramid scheme. I'm like, yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is. The US dollar is a Ponzi scheme, a it is a damn, what's the word? I just it is a scam, it is a pyramid scheme, and this is just the continuation of that. All right. So I mean, like I said, it's like, we're moving into a very, very interesting world that is not sustainable. All right. Because at the end of the day, they can't just be printing money into oblivion. That's never worked in the history of humanity. Why is it going to work now? Again, what else did they do today or yesterday? They printed the last penny. That's it. There's no more pennies ever. That's kind of crazy to me. I mean, and again, think about it. They were supposed to get rid of they were supposed to have gotten rid of that penny a while ago. Each penny that they make, I mean, look at how bad things have gotten. So each penny that is produced cost 4 cents. So in order to make 1 cent coin, it costs 4 cents. And back in the day, a penny was copper. So when it was made out of copper, it was worth more. Now I don't even know what the hell they use. Same thing with the dime and nickel. Okay, there used to be silver in those. All right, now it's just, I don't know what they put in there, but yeah, the thing is, it's like at the end of the day, this whole thing is unsustainable. As I've explained before in other live streams and videos, going more in depth, in the debt, going more in depth as to what they're planning on doing with the Genius Act and the debt and the treasuries and the stable coins and all that crap. And they're going full speed ahead. And again, like I said, when I heard Trump say, "Hey, we're giving everybody a $2,000 dividend," again, please quote me. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. I forgot the exact wording, but it was something around like dividend or payment. But the way that he made it sound was like, like when you get a like let's say you're invested in treasuries or invested in the stock market, and you get paid a dividend or whatever it is every quarter. So that's the way that he worded it. And when like I said, when I read that, I was like, huh, that's interesting. You know what I mean? Like the way that, and again, think about it. Think about it. Okay. If all of a sudden he were to secure, let's say that right now the economy tanks, it all goes to the shitter. All right. For many of you guys out there, for most of us out there, it's already in the shitter. All right. And we have, no light at the end of the tunnel, a lot of, yada, yada, yada. So let's say that the stock market crashes tomorrow. Like, no one's going to care. No one's invested in the stock market, unless you're like a boomer with a 401k or whatever. But for the most part, nobody has any skin in the game. So nobody gives a crap. All right. But that would be the perfect reason and excuse, okay, for Trump to say, all right, so we're in an economic emergency. I got to go on ahead and I got to give people, money like they did during COVID because we got to lift up the economy again. But everything is so bad already that for many people, even that $2,000 extra is, yeah, sure, it's extra, but it's going to take a lot more than that. All right. And so, and as things get more and more expensive, again, the more checks they give out, the more expensive everything gets. So each $2,000 check that you're going to get is going to be worth less and less and buy you less and less and less. And again, this is the plan. So like I said, to me, the way I see it, I this might be the very beginning of, universal basic income, which is going to be very interesting to see. Because that way, think about it. How many people are getting laid off right now? How many people are losing their jobs? Like, for example, the hemp industry, what we were just talking about earlier. The whole hemp industry, that's 300,000 jobs. AI is not doing any of those jobs. Okay? AI is not doing any of those jobs, and those jobs are gone. Those people need, some sort of respite. Unemployment might not be enough. All right? There might not be any more jobs, for those people to have. Again, think about if, again, all of a sudden, like you're seeing right now, first of all, the job market right now is terrible. All right. Most people out there cannot get a good job or a job. All right. And then on top of that, there are, layoff, all these companies are having all these layoffs all over the place because AI is replacing a lot of people. I literally saw a video the other day where some guy working for some insurance company or something like that, basically everybody on his team got fired. Everybody got fired. Even his boss got fired. Okay. He was the only one that kept his job. And now his boss was replaced by an AI chatbot. How crazy is that? All right. And in fact, I gotta see if I can find that video. But anyways, his job was replaced by an AI chatbot. And that was pretty crazy. That was pretty nuts to see, how that kind of like was playing out because the guy was showing the conversation he was having with that chat bot or whatever. Let me see if I can find that video because this is so much. I'm looking through my history here. Might not be able to find it. What day is it today? When did I see that? Oh yeah, yeah. But anyways, man, that was pretty crazy to me. Seeing that um, seeing that happen or whatever. All right, when was this? Let me see if I can find. Oh no, it's probably my other. One second. One second. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, to me, yeah, it's getting crazy out there. Um, mm, where was this video? Mm, was it this one? Man, there's just so many. Maybe it was this one. No. Yeah, sorry. My apologies, man. I really wanted to find members. It was a pretty freaky thing when I saw it. Um, where was it? Oh man, my apologies. Is it this one? Maybe this one. Nah, forget it. Forget about it. Forget it. Forget it. I'm not gonna be looking through all this right now. My apologies. I got a live stream here. We're trying to find a video like an idiot. Anyways, but yeah. So like the guy was talking. The guy was recording. The conversation he was having with his new boss, which was an AI. And another thing that's going on with AI. So I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys remember, but a few months ago, I was telling you guys, hey, I'm going to start doing some videos with AI. I've already been using AI for certain things, and so on and so forth. And it's been a few months since I haven't used it for various reasons. It's just I'm busy, but I do use it sometimes. I have used it, for example, like on my other channel. If I film a video in Spanish and I want to get a translation and the captions and things like that. Well, anyways, so I recently did another video in Spanish, and I'm just trying to get it set up, so that people can listen to it or watch it in English as well, right? And before, I used to just go to ChatGPT and just say, "Hey, I'm sending you this file. Can you translate the file for me? And can you put the timestamps? And can you do the pop, 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 whatever, and get it ready for me?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, yeah, no problem." So ChatGPT would just beep, beep, boop, 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 and within 5 minutes, I had the whole thing. All right, great. That's awesome. That saves me 5 hours. All right. And so recently, literally a couple days ago, I had to do the same thing for a video I recorded recently. And all of a sudden, ChatGPT was not working with me. Meaning that I'm talking to ChatGPT, and then I send them the same thing, and it's like, well, I can't really help you with that right now. The thing is that titira para puru. And so I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I remember a few months ago that I'm talking to the freaking AI, and I'm like, hey, I remember a few months ago that you helped me out with this, and everything was hunky dory, and this is the result that I got. And they're like, oh yeah, but the thing is that now what? It was just so weird. It was just very, man. I wish man, can I find the conversation? But anyways, all I'm trying to get at is that I was having a conversation with AI back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and it did not want to work. And it kept lying to me. Eventually, it did translate the thing, and I'm reading the translation, and it was nothing like what the video was. I just edited the video. I just interviewed this person. So I know what the interview was about. And it's like, they're not talking about anything. Okay, what the translation was nothing like what was in the video. And I told ChatGPT, he's like, oh yeah, oh you caught me on that. Oh whatever. Okay, now I'm gonna send you the correct translation. It's like, I didn't know you spoke Spanish. And I'm like, what the? And so it's like I'm talking to another human, and this human is trolling me. That's the thing. And so early on in this conversation with AI, I was like, all right, I'm not going to get the results. I'm going to whatever. But at this point, I want to see how far I can take it. And basically, I was chatting with this bot for hours. Not constantly. But for example, it would tell me eventually, okay, Jose, I got your thing ready. It's going to just take me 45 minutes to process the CRT file and for me to get the thing ready and be that. In the meantime, would you like me to add these timestamps to the thing? And would you like a text file to also go with the thing? And I'm like, yeah, sure, of course, ChatGPT, that'd be great. I appreciate that. 45 minutes would pass. Oh, sorry, it's just that we were having a thing with the servers, and your file is a big file, and it's going to take a little longer than usual. And beep, ba and okay, like as soon as it's ready, I'll send it to you. And it went on and went on. Literally, I was about to go to bed at 11:30, and I forgot that I was still chatting with this thing, and eventually I was just. That's when I was just like, man, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, how come you're not giving me the information? How come you're lying to me? How come you're this? How come you're that? How come? And the AI came clean, but it was just so weird to compare to what it was before. Okay, and look, to me, I am not afraid. Okay, of AI. I don't think this thing has a life of its own or anything like that. I know exactly what it's doing. Okay. Remember, there are humans out there that program these things. Remember, I've been in tech for a long time. I got friends in tech, so on and so forth. So I know exactly what's going on. It's the same thing that always goes on. They'll give you a product for free. Okay. And once you get addicted to the product or you start using the product or you love the product, then eventually they're going to be like, hey, in order for you to continue using this product, you got to pay this monthly fee or you got to provide this information, or you got to do this, or you got to do that. You got to, yeah. And so then eventually people either pay the fee or sign up or do the whatever, or they just stop using it altogether. And so that's the thing. It's like we're moving into like that world as well, where a lot of people are, again, the AI bubble is also bursting. That's also part of the thing. It's not just the debt, the car debt and the burrito loans, all those debt bubbles that are going to burst. But on top of that, the AI bubble is bursting. Just like the tech bubble burst, way back when in early 2000s. So we're seeing a lot of that. And so, AI is great, but the thing is, it's just like, Netflix was great. YouTube was better at one point. You know what I'm saying? Like all these companies were amazing and awesome at one point, and now they all pretty much suck. I subscribe to Spotify because I like to listen to music and I like to listen to my podcast and I like to listen to them commercial free. And by the way, in Mexico, Spotify is only $6 a month, all right? And very recently they, made it $7 a month, which is like, all right, whatever. But on top of that, now when I listen to my podcast, it's like there's all these ads in the way, on top of the ad reads, through, the podcast and so on and so forth. And it's like, it's getting to the point where it's like, I'm about to cancel my Spotify because it's like, I'm paying to be ad free. And now I am paying to get the same service as I would be getting for free. So what the hell am I paying for? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. So, I mean, look, piracy, for example, a lot of people are going back to piracy. In fact, piracy, digital piracy, whatever, is seeing a major, major uptick in recent years and especially in recent months because people are just tired. They're tired of paying a super expensive Netflix, membership and then not having anything to watch. And then they can just simply go to whatever website on the internet and watch all of the seasons of any show at any time for free. All right. Or watch any movie for free. And it's like, why am I paying for Disney Plus? Why I can't even watch my football games on Disney Plus or on ESPN or on whatever. I can't. That's another thing too. I know friends in the USA that watch sports as well. And now these days, in order to watch whatever you're going to watch, you're going to have like 16 subscriptions to Paramount, to CBS, to ESPN, to this, to that, to that. And then the night of the game comes and they're not even broadcasting the game. And it's hilarious because I'm out here in Mexico and I'm watching all the games. I got games on screen all over the place. On every screen I can find I got a game on, right? And my friends in the USA that are paying all these fees, they can't even get a game. So like I said, yeah, it's like so like right now, we're on the verge of this giant bubble bursting. Okay. And everything that we're seeing right now, honestly, is they're just priming, getting everybody ready for hard times. They're getting everybody ready, to be dealing with these situation. They're getting everybody ready and used to, getting a government check and not working and things like that. And again, being more of a slave because that again, now you have even less freedom because now you don't even have the freedom to make the money you want to make. They're just giving you a check. And remember, we're into the digital world now. Apple. Oh, by the way, another thing that happened with the new bill that they just passed, to open up the government. Now Apple has rolled out their digital ID. Yeah, I saw it this morning too, and I was like, I can't believe it. In fact, Apple just had an update. I don't have Apple products. I just have an Apple computer. It's a different whatever. But anyways, but anyone that has an iPhone, for example, there's like a thing in your settings now that you can go check, and it'll tell you, it's like, okay, do you want your digital ID? If you want your digital ID set up, please provide your license or your this or your that, whatever. So they already got the digital ID, and it's I think 16 out of the 50 states already have that downloaded on their phone. All right. So and that's the thing. And so that's how they're going to keep the compliance and keep everybody in check because you already know if you say the wrong thing, if you're not happy with the government, if you're out there protesting, whatever the hell you're doing that the government don't like, they just take your check away. And there ain't no jobs for you to get. And there ain't no small business for you to start up. You see how it all just, before you know it, it's done. You're done. There's no escape. There's no nothing. You're fucked. All right. And so that's the thing, that's why I talk about these things on this channel and I talk about the things that I talk about on my other channel. Again, on my other channel, talking about living in Mexico. I'm telling you guys, you got to, time's a ticking. You got to get out before it's too late. There's going to come a time where you're not going to be able to get out. Think about it. Think about the time where all of a sudden you don't have a job and the only money you're getting is that government check And the only way that you can get that government check is if you're in the USA. How the hell are you going to escape? And that government check is just barely enough to pay your rent and pay your food and pay your whatever, you know? And you might not be able to get a passport or whatever it is. I mean, come on, you know what I mean? Like it's just I already know, you can already see it. You know, it's like, let's say you go apply for a passport and they'll be like, wait, why are you applying for a passport? You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You don't even have your own job. You can't even, what is it? You can't even sustain yourself. You can't even, whatever. You rely on the government check. You're not going anywhere. Uh, so, but yeah, anyway, so, let me see. But anyway, so yeah, so anyways, on either Saturday or Sunday or Monday or Tuesday or one of these days, I'm dropping of the Spanish video on my channel, and I had to basically play with a configuration on YouTube for it to spit out some captions in English because it did not translate the video either. Whatever. Anyways, it is what it is. It's my own. Those are my problems. Jose problems. So, anyways, the Manic Hispanic said, Trump said $2,000 is to be used to get your own medical insurance or to pay for medical. Oh, great. My open heart surgery cost me over $300,000, and that's just me. What about cancer victims? No, but I mean, look at how insane, everything is. Okay, so that $2,000 is just for healthcare. I mean, look, I live in Mexico, right? A third world shithole, right? According to him and according to a lot of people out there. And yet everybody has free healthcare out here, me included. I'm not even a citizen. The hell, man. But yeah, that is crazy. So instead of just giving everybody free healthcare, right? So Huey says, I can't get a job, so I love those government checks. If they're $2,000 every month, I'll save that shit up while living in my van and buying. Yeah, I mean so think about it, okay? For some of you guys remember during COVID, right? Remember when we had when COVID was announced and they shut everything down and the stock market, everything just went and tanked, right? Everything went to the floor, right? And then immediately they were announcing, hey, we're going to start sending people checks. We're going to start sending people money. And then as they started sending people money, there was a V-shaped recovery. The stock market recovered and, we've, seen all-time highs since then. So remember, we had a Bitcoin crypto pump, everything, right? So that's what I think too, like again, you know, again, a lot of these things are just inevitable. A lot of these things are just going to happen. So, like I said, the bubble is going to burst. Once that bubble bursts, that's the perfect, segue, for them to now give you guys that $2,000. And so initially it's just going to be like a one-time payment or whatever it is, or just for a few months or whatever it is in order to get everybody back on their feet. But what's going to happen is that, again, people are not going to be able to get back on their feet. So that, again, that temporary government payment is going to end up becoming a permanent thing. Again, just like every other temporary government thing is always a permanent thing. It eventually just means permanent. So, and that's what I see is going to happen because most of that money, again, for a lot of people, like for example, look at Huey. A lot of people are going to use that money, to pay for their things, save up, whatever. But long story short, now all of a sudden you got money. Again, you'll have money to save. So that means that you're going to be able to purchase things, right? And keep the economy going. So imagine how many people, again, you saw it during COVID, how many people out there spent those checks immediately. They spent those checks on crap. They spent those checks on things that they needed. Some people saved it. Some people invested that money. Like, again, some people invested in Bitcoin, crypto, stock market, and they made a lot of money. And so that's what I see happening. I think that's what's going to happen. That, it's all part of the plan. Okay. So that it'll give the impression to a lot of Americans across the board that the economy is saved, they got wealth, they got money, they'll be able to now, do more things and so on and so forth. So, and again, as they keep that going, you're going to see again the purchasing power of those dollars, becoming less and less each and every day. Things are going to keep getting more expensive and so on and so forth, because that's another thing too. Not only is inflation making everything expensive, Not only is the money printing going to keep making everything more expensive, but on top of that, you got to remember now all of a sudden, all these corporations, all these businesses, small business, big business, whatever, they're going to see that all the people have all this money to spend. And so they're just going to raise their prices because people got the money to spend. You know what I'm saying? So I'm telling you, like it's we're going to see again. By the way, it says Danny Bell says, I don't think you are accurate on that. Well, again, this is why I do my show with a talking horse. Anyone that takes this guy seriously needs to get their head checked. So again, as the horse said, don't be taking everything I say seriously. Do your own research, okay? Do your own work. Figure out what's right for you. Um, I could be wrong or I could be right. I actually have a track record of being right and being wrong. Okay. So, but I got a pretty good track record of being pretty right. And, this is nothing new. This has happened multiple times. Again, not only has it happened multiple times in US history, it's happened multiple times in world history. Again, even recently, it just happened to Argentina for crying out loud. You know what I mean? Come on. So it is what it is. I appreciate your thoughts. I'm not here pretending like I know anything or everything. I'm just here spewing my thoughts, my opinions, and it's up to you guys to figure it out. All right. So, in fact, Danny Bell says $2,000 is a dividend. Okay, so it was a dividend. Thank you very much. Okay, so there you go. So it's a dividend. All right. So yeah, like I said, as soon as he said, "Oh, there's going to be a dividend," it's like, "Oh, okay. So yeah, this is going to be a regular thing, or that's the idea. That's the plan. Is that they want to make this a regular thing? All right. Um, but yeah, the whole thing with tariffs and stuff like that. I mean, I've talked about all that to death. You know what I mean? I don't want to. I think most people already know. What the reality with tariffs is. So it is what it is. All right. So Chris says also, how is Taco running the USA when he is huh? I don't know what that means. Taco. Who's Taco? Anyways. So yeah, that's the thing. And so like, right now that's what I said. The Manic Hispanic says people are pissed off that Trump keeps falling asleep. I'm pissed off that Trump keeps waking up. Huh? Listen, guys, again, I don't want to keep bursting people's bubbles out there, but Trump does not have your best interests. Trump is not here to save the USA or save your ass. All right. Neither was Biden. Neither was any. They're all in the same team. They're all in the same. It's one big party and you're not invited. One big club and you're not in it. All right. So that goes with the same. Again, I forgot who. There was a funeral. Who was it? Man, there was a president that died a few years ago or a year ago, and yeah, I think it was last year. And who was this guy? The Democrat guy. The guy was really the peanut guy. Anyways, that guy died, and at that funeral, you saw Trump and Obama, mortal enemies, sitting next to each other, chumming it up like they're buddies, like they're about to go get a beer, once the funeral was done. So but anyways, long story short, guys, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter how they sell it to you, how you want to believe it, whether it's the Doge dividend or tariffs or whatever the hell it is. At the end of the day, it's universal basic income. And where's that money coming from? Okay. The reality is that it's coming from the Federal Reserve and the money printing. That's it. Okay. It's as simple as that. Jimmy Carter. There you go. Thank you very much, Terry Wright. Shout out to you. But yeah, I mean, come on. You know what I mean? Like you saw it right there. You know what I mean? Like, you saw it in the funeral, how buddy they were or they are. All right. And in fact, here, let me show you this from a video. Hold on a second. From a video that I did not too long ago. Here, check this out. But yeah, I mean, this is one big party. Oh, Taco is Trump. Why are you calling him Taco? That doesn't make sense. Why is Trump Taco? Explain that one to me. Let me see if I can. There it is. All right. Hold on a second. Ah, man, hold on. I gotta. Hold on, because I want to show it to you here. You let me know what you think here. One second, one second. We almost got it. Again, there's one big club and you ain't in it. All right, here.
Some things in common. For instance, we both run impressive properties on Fifth Avenue. Of course, his is much more impressive than mine. That's because I built mine with my own beautifully formed hands. While his was built with the hands of God, and nobody can compete with God. Is that correct? Nobody, right? That's right. No contest. It's great to be here with 1,000 wonderful people.
Hey, look, it's Hillary.
Or, as I call it, a small, intimate dinner with some friends. Or, as Hillary calls it, her largest crowd of the season.
Look, I mean, look at that. Look at that. I thought they hated each other. This is back in 2016, guys.
This is corny stuff.
Yeah.
I do recognize that I come into this event with a little bit of an advantage. I know that so many of you in the Archdiocese already have a place in your heart for a guy who started out as a carpenter working for his father. I was a carpenter working for my father.
One big club and you ain't in it. Sorry.
True. Not for a long period of time, but I was for about 3 weeks. What's great about the Al Smith dinner is that even in the rough and tumble world of a really, really hard-fought campaign. In fact, I don't know if you know Hillary, but last night they said that was the most vicious debate in the history of politics, presidential debate, the most vicious. And I don't know, are we supposed to be proud of that, or are we supposed to be unhappy? But they did say that, and I'm trying to think back to Lincoln. I don't think they can really compete with that. But the candidates have some lighthearted moments together, which is true. I have no doubt that Hillary is going to laugh quite a bit tonight, sometimes even at an appropriate moment. And even tonight,
This guy.
with all of the heated back and forth,
Anyways, guys, like, again, enough, all right? Yeah, all right? I don't know what else to say, all right? Hasn't been said already and you haven't seen already. So that's the thing, guys. You know what I mean? The reality is that it's all one big club and you ain't in it. And anyone that still thinks that, Trump's going to save them or AOC, is going to save them or Kamala Harris or I don't know, whatever. I mean, like I said, I got plenty of things to sell you, all right? On my website. All right, check it out. Anyways, I got a lot of t-shirts. But come on, guys. You know what I mean? And so, like right now, as I was explaining this past hour, as to what I think, what a lot of this means, why they shut the government down, why they did everything they did, what I see coming into the future. Again, just plan accordingly. Whether I'm right or not. You know what I mean? Again, you got to figure it out on your own. Do your own homework. This is what I figured out on my own. All right. And the way I see things. Again, Trump has already announced he's going to be giving away that money. He's done it before. All right. It's happened. There's already a precedent, for the president, to do this. All right. So he's done it before. In fact, more than just give away a check. All right. So $2,000, no big deal. So, and they've been talking about that already for months, for a while now, right? Like Elon was saying or whatever. So they're just trying to figure out a way how to do it, okay, and when to do it, and but it's gonna happen. That it's gonna happen is gonna happen. You know what I mean? 1,000%. But we'll see. The thing is that you got to remember, these people in power have all these plans and they have all these ideas as to what they want to do. But not everything always works out as planned. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the people help out because they're extra dumb NPCs. Sometimes the people make it more difficult, and so on and so forth. But like I said, they got a plan and they're going to execute that plan, whether it's today, tomorrow, next year, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. They're playing the long game. All right. Again, they're playing the long game. Look at look at all the people that that they have in that club. Look at Trump. Trump has all these kids. Like imagine right now, all of a sudden, like a Melania, his daughter, she's the one that runs for president next time. I think a lot of people would end up voting for her. Right? Just like they'll end up voting for Michelle Obama, for example, if she were to, or Mike, Big Mike, or whatever you want to call him, right? Oh, that must have been a good joke. Oh, I want to see what he said there. Let's see what this guy, let's see what the jokester said here.
Civilly said, pardon me.
No, it's basically, yeah, Hillary, like, so again, like,
And
I thought he was gonna put her in jail. I was like, no, don't worry, I'll give her a pardon.
very politely replied, let me talk to you about that after I get into office.
Terrible, bro. I thought they hated each other. Look at them.
Just kidding, just kidding. And Hillary was very gracious. She said if somehow she gets elected, she wants me to be, without question, either her ambassador to Iraq or to Afghanistan. It's my choice.
This guy's full of jokes.
But one of the things I noticed tonight, and I've known Hillary for a long time, is this is the first time
really?
ever, that Hillary is sitting down and speaking to major corporate leaders and not getting paid for it. It's true. True. Last night, I called Hillary a nasty woman. But this stuff is all relative. After listening to Hillary rattle on and on and on, I don't think so badly of Rosie O'Donnell anymore. In fact, I'm actually starting to like Rosie a lot.
This fucking guy. All right. Enough of the fucking, the Trump Comedy World Tour, 2016 edition here. I mean, but come on, guys. What are we doing here? What are we doing? So, again, all those people, they already got their plan. They already got their bunkers. They already got their investments. They already know what's going to happen. We're just here trying to guess and trying to figure it out. All right. But at the end of the day, it's just like playing detective. If you study it enough, if you do your homework, if you are, you're a good detective and so on and so forth, you can kind of start figuring it out and hopefully solve the case before it can affect you. Because as most people, they're just in la la land. They want to believe what they want to believe. All right. And, you can't really change that at all. This is why many years ago, I stopped talking about this. I used to do daily videos talking about all this stuff. And when COVID happened, after all that, and I saw how everybody is a sheep, how everybody, just fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. I was like, oh yeah, forget about it. We're fucked. We're fucked. You know what I mean? What am I doing? What am I doing even caring this much about it, or who am I trying to convince or whatever, And I just stopped. And here we are. I'm just starting to talk about it again because these are topics and these are things that I like to talk about. And again, it's just interesting to see it all play out. After reading so much history and knowing all these things that have happened throughout the centuries out there, and then seeing how we're living through some crazy times that are going to be in the history books 1000%. All right. it is interesting to see it from that point of view. And that's why, I mean, for me, it's like I don't watch movies, I don't watch TV shows, I don't watch any of that. Are you kidding me? Real life is more crazy and interesting than anything that they can produce on TV these days. So yeah, guys, at the end of the day, guys, we are, each day we're getting closer and closer and closer to that end game. But depending on what you've done in order to prepare, will depend on whether you're going to survive or not. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. All right. And, everybody, place their bets accordingly. I've placed my bets. All right. And you guys had to place your bets out there, just like we have, who was it in the chat? Danny Bell, they placed their bets on Trump and they placed their bets in the USA. Okay, great. I placed my bets on myself. I placed my bets on another country. And that's it. You know what I mean? Everybody, you guys have to figure it out on your own. All right. So, but there are tons of solutions and there are ways out. And this is not the end of the world. There's not the apocalypse. There's nothing like that. Again, if you act accordingly, all right? If you plan accordingly, you'll be fine. So, all right, let me see. I think that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap this up. I've already gone over an hour. And I said, I don't know what else to say that I haven't said already. So, guys, all right, I really hope you guys enjoyed today's show. I really appreciate you guys. By the way, before I go, I want to talk to you guys real quick about the channel. I've been uploading. Okay, in fact, now that I got you guys here, before I go, please, okay, I want to ask you guys a quick question, all right? Please, 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 if you have the ability to answer in the chat, help me out. Help me. At the one time I'm going to ask you for a little help here. I have been uploading, okay, these live streams, okay? So these live streams, once they go live, and once I'm finished with the live stream, YouTube publishes them. But what I've been doing is that I've actually been getting the files themselves and I'm uploading them separately. Okay. The reason I'm doing that is because I know some of you guys out there in the audience have not seen some of the older shows, or maybe you didn't get a chance to watch the show when I live streamed it originally. So I'm doing it for that reason, reason number one, so that, new viewers can get it, can see it. But also when you upload videos, it's different than when you live stream videos. So I'm uploading them so that YouTube can spit them out, recommend them to new viewers, people that maybe never heard of me before. So that's why I'm doing it. I hope it's not bothering many of you guys out there in the audience when I'm re-uploading some of these shows or some of these videos. Okay. But that's the reason I'm doing it. I'm doing it because I'm trying to attract new viewers, trying to grow the channel, trying to, again, expand, further. All right. Also, I'm uploading super old videos. Okay. I got videos from my original channel. Okay. Again, I've been doing YouTube for 10 years. Okay. But I got videos that I filmed like 5 years ago during COVID. That I had on my original channel that only had a few hundred views because I had a small channel back then. But again, think about everything that's happened in the last 5 years. And when I was looking back at some of those old videos, just taking a little trip down memory lane recently, I started to realize, you know what, maybe it would be a good idea to upload these so that people can see them, and again, people can remember what things were like back then, good, bad, and ugly. All right. And again, just for some people might want to see it for nostalgia. Some people might want to see it for more information. All right. Or whatever it is. But I'm uploading those videos as well. I got a bunch of those videos, ready to upload. But again, I'm wondering if you guys are even interested in those videos or want to see those videos. Again, those videos from 5 years ago, most of you guys have not seen ever. But again, I'm uploading them just because of the kind of like the historical aspect of it, because they're probably going to get lost on the other channel forever. So I might as well just re-upload them here to see if they can, continue living on the internet. Because again, maybe people are still not interested in watching that now, but imagine 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and so on and so forth. People might want to, look into what life was like back then, So anyways, I see nobody is saying anything in the chat. So it seems like nobody seems to care or have a problem with me re-uploading everything. So, all right. And I took a few polls and asked you guys a few questions, but, on the channel, but it seems, all right, I'm not getting any answers or any response from you guys. You guys are just listening patiently out there. Anyways, I think that's it, guys. So I don't know. I don't know what else to say. All right. So Huey, okay, Huey's enjoying them. So look, real quick here. Let me show you. All right, hold on a second. Do-do-do-do-do. Man, I gotta get a new mouse, man. I just can't afford to get a new mouse yet, but I need a new mouse ASAP. These mouses are expensive, right? But I use it for editing and a bunch of other things. Editing. But yeah, this thing's already, it's already so old, but I need a new one soon. All right, real quick. So, all right, here on my other channel here. So on my other channel, like I've uploaded a few videos, you guys can see there. All right, so look, this video right here, this is like right after, this is like right after they declared the pandemic emergency. So I just uploaded that to the channel a couple days ago.
Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome back.
Look at my beard wasn't as gray as it is today. Anyways, so I uploaded that. I also have another video that I uploaded, which was May 18th. But again, I went through my super old channel, okay, and I uploaded and I got a bunch of videos to basically to upload in chronological order, because I originally uploaded this one here, May 18th, early days of COVID, whatever. But then I realized, oh, wait a minute, there was other videos that I did earlier on than that, and then videos that I did in between and after that. And when I was watching them, in like kind of chronological order, I was like, oh, what I mean? You get to see how things quickly started to deteriorate, and before you knew it, you're wearing masks. Before you knew it, you had the cops, telling you to make sure you get your mask and stay indoors, whatever it is. And then, as months and time passed, everything just started to get back to normal in a weird way. So, okay, cool, Cecil. All right, cool, Huey, cool, Alex. All right, awesome. All right, so I'm gonna continue to upload them, and hopefully, you guys can watch them and maybe learn something from them or get a little something from them. But I mean, like I said, I was watching them, and I thought I was just gonna watch a little bit of it and then see if I was gonna upload it. But I ended up watching the majority of, or the complete video, or of all the ones that I plan on uploading, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I really, I'm keeping these for my own purposes, but I'm sure a lot of you guys, might be probably interested in it. But yeah, and so then I was looking at my older videos. Again, I've been talking about, everything that's going on right now for years, 5, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, right? And I was going to download those and re-upload them. But then when I was listening to myself 6, 7 years ago, I'm like, man, bro, the production quality is terrible. The way that I was speaking on camera was terrible. Everything was just pretty terrible. And so I'm like, you know what? Maybe the best bet for those videos is just to redo them, re-record them, and do brand new videos on that. So I plan on uploading a few more of the older videos. Again, the walking and talking videos of COVID. I'm going to see if I can upload more of these live streams and stuff like that. But I am going to be producing new content for the channel going forward, all right? For sure, especially going into next year where, I got a bunch of new things I want to do. Again, this channel is kind of like a blank slate. I got my other channel, Living in Mexico, and that is pretty niche and, basically covers a certain, a certain group of topics. But on this channel, it's pretty wide open. So I got a lot of room to play with, and I got a lot of things that I want to share with you guys. So we're going to be doing that going forward. And yeah, hopefully you guys are here for the ride. And the older, the things that I've been uploading recently, kind of just giving you maybe an idea as to what I might be uploading. But we'll see. We'll play it by ear and things like that. And by the way, I've told you guys many times, if you guys have any suggestions or ideas for things that you might want to see or have me talk about or whatever, videos you want me to make or whatever, please leave them in the comments. Don't leave them in the chat, because sometimes a lot of times I don't get to read the chat, but leave it down below in the comments, or, when I'm asking the questions, as you guys can see here, when I'm asking you guys questions, you guys can leave it there, but leave it in a comment or something like that. So that way I know. All right. And that's it. So I think that's it, guys. All right, I think we're going to wrap it up. I don't want to waste any more of your time. It's already been a long enough day, long enough live stream. I really hope you guys enjoyed today's show, and I hope you guys got something out of it. And that's it. You know what I mean? If you did, you already know what to do. Please subscribe. Please like. You know, and all that good stuff. All right. You want to help support the show? You can go to my website. You know, there's ways you can help support the show. You can buy a T-shirt. You can send a donation. Whatever. You know, there's many things you guys can do, or not. You know, just support the show by watching the videos. You know, or sharing the videos with a friend or an enemy or a frenemy or whatever. You know, and all that good stuff. So, all right, let's get the show rolling here. Really appreciate you guys. We got to get out of here. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. Love you guys. Appreciate you guys. You already know the deal. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to please like, please subscribe, please share, please the bell icon. But more important than anything else, please continue to stay awesome. And again, hit the notification, you know, hit the little bell icon so that you guys know when I upload videos, when I go live on Thursdays and everything in between. All right. So I love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. I expect some videos to be uploaded on the channel soon, you know, the next day or two or whatever. And I'll see you guys here next week, and I'll see you guys on the other channel, and I'll see you guys on the internet. So love you guys, appreciate you guys, and see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.
I'm living in the 21st century, doing something mean to do it better than anybody you ever seen do it. Screams from the haters got a nice ring to it. I guess every superhero need his theme music. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hour. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power.
21st century schizoid man.
Hey, the system broken, the schools closed, the prisons open. We ain't got nothing to lose, motherfucker, we rollin'. Motherfucker, we rollin'. With some light-skinned girls and some Kelly Rollins. In this white man world, we the ones chosen. So good night, cruel world, I'll see you in the morning. I'll see you in the morning. This is way too much, I need a moment. No one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping off the power. Till then, fuck that, the world's ours. And they say, 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 and they say. Fuck SNL and the whole cast. Tell them Yeezy said they can kiss my whole ass. More specifically, they can kiss my asshole. I'm an asshole, you niggas got jokes. You short-minded niggas, thoughts is Napoleon. My first is Mongolian, my eyes brought the goalies in. I embody every characteristic of the egotistic. He knows he's so fucking gifted. I just needed time alone with my own thoughts. Got treasures in my mind but couldn't open up my own vault. My childlike creativity, purity and honesty is honestly being crowded by these grown thoughts. Reality is catching up with me, taking my inner child. I'm fighting for custody with these responsibilities that they entrusted me. As I look down at my diamond encrusted piece, thinking no one man should have all that power. The clock's ticking, I just count the hours. Stop tripping, I'm tripping, I'm off the powder. Till then, fuck that, the world's ours. And they say, 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 and they say. Austin Powers, lost in translation with a whole fucking nation. They say I was the abomination of Obama's nation. Well, that's a pretty bad way to start the conversation. At the end of the day, goddamn it, I'm killing this shit. I know damn well y'all feeling this shit. I don't need your pussy, bitch, I'm on my own dick. I ain't got a power trip, who you going on with? How you doing? I'm surviving. I was drinking earlier, now I'm driving. Where the bad bitches are, where you hiding? I got the power, make your life so exciting. Now this will Be a beautiful death. I'm jumping out the window. I'm letting everything go. I'm letting everything go. Now this will be a beautiful death. I'm jumping out the window. I'm letting everything go. I'm letting everything go. Now this will be a beautiful day. Jumping out the window, letting everything go. Letting everything go. The battle on. You got the power to let power go.
Back to another live stream. Back
100 times?
to another live stream.
200 times.
Back.
500 times.
Probably. Who is Jose Arteaga?
Jose Arteaga is a YouTube content creator with several channels focusing on different themes.
I can't do it. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. Thing sucks.
His main channels include travel vlogs and lifestyle content. On his travel channel, Jose Arteaga Travels.
You ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Additionally, he runs a cooking channel and engages in other personal projects that highlight his diverse interests and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects and expertise. Projects, project, projects, project, 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 project.